Welcome to The Shift episode 2. I am Caroline Whitmey. The Shift is where we have honest and open conversations with well-known positive male role models about the highs and lows of their success and what it means to be a man today. I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Chris Robshaw. He is an absolute legend from the world of rugby. Take this, Chris, I'm going to do a long one. His career saw him as England captain for 4 years, where he led them through various tournaments, Six Nations, Autumn Internationals, and a World Cup. He then took that ability to lead into the world of business and corporate career. He's also set up a foundation with his lovely wife Camilla to champion the next generation and help them through music and sport. And finally, you've most recently probably seen him head to toe in sequins and his dancing shoes on Strictly Come Dancing, which we'll talk about too. This is an amazing man. He's a devoted husband and dad, Mr. Chris Robshaw. Did I miss anything out?
I think that's about right. Yes. So great. Thank you very much for having me on. It's brilliant to come on and share a little bit. And the Strictly thing seems to be the thing people are most excited by, which is nice.
Sorry.
No, I mean,
Big career before that.
yeah, it feels, I must admit, it almost feels a bit like a separate life now, that stage, my rugby stage. I left Harlequins, probably almost 6 years ago, actually, 5, 6 years ago. Stopped playing about 3 years ago this summer. So all of a sudden, the time is creeping up on you.
Yeah.
And then I go back there now, and I've got to the stage now, especially Harlequins, England, the odd person I overlapped with, but very much Harlequins. Yes, the odd academy player is now one of the senior guys, and it's a very different thing where all my friends have kind of moved on and gone into different walks of life. So I go there with fond memories, and it's great going back now. I think enough time has passed. I think when any retired athletes go back initially, it always hurts a bit. You always
Yeah.
miss it, and then you get to this stage where I'm 40 this year, where you think I definitely couldn't be doing what I'm doing, and how I ever did it, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Once you're in it, that's all you know.
It's a quite a big thing turning 40. How are you feeling about that?
I'm a little bit nervous actually. When I got to 30, I was quite I'm ready for 30. Now I'm getting to 40. It's an interesting step, and look, personally, it is really interesting. Unfortunately, my father died around 40 when I was 5. My little brother was 3. My older one was 7. So it is quite a significant milestone in terms of that. And you think about to turn 40, and I still feel young and youthful and all that thing. And then I think, and obviously when you're a kid, and obviously it was incredible sad. My dad passed, but you thought it was kind of a long way in the future, and whereas you think now how much life you still have to live and who you would leave behind, and it definitely hits me differently now in
Yeah.
terms of that. I'm sure I'm going to have a party and all that and have some good times, but definitely the emotional side, I definitely think about it a bit more now.
Yeah.
And actually, at my brother's 40th, my older one, a couple of years ago, me and my brothers all had a drink for him because, yeah, and kind of looking around and how youthful everyone is with young kids and families.
I actually want to start there, Chris, because you've had such a successful career and you have determination and drive and ambition to do great things. And I wondered if you could just bring me back to the beginning when you were that young lad with your dad around and growing up in the Robshaw household with your brothers. What was it like?
Yeah, look, we were all very sporty. We were sporty kids. Myself in particular, I wasn't academic. I was very dyslexic as a kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to be outside playing. I didn't want to be in classrooms or anything like that. Any sport, racket, balls, running, whatever it could be, I wanted to do it. And it's a place like, if I'm honest, gained happiness, gained confidence, all that kind of stuff to take into different walks of life. But yeah, look, we were a very fortunate family to have the opportunities we did. We then went on to some nice schools as well, which really accelerated my sporting ability.
Yeah. And what was it? What was the dynamic like in the house? Like, what was your dad like? What was your mum like? Was it fun? What was it like growing up there?
Yeah, look, if I'm honest, I don't remember massively parts of my dad. Like I said, I passed at 5. I've definitely blocked and repressed and bits like that as well. But my mum was so supportive and so caring and back in, but she ran 2 businesses. So it's that kind of balance as well. So it was, look, don't get me wrong, it was tough. Any young family loses a parent or anything like that, it is tough. But yeah, look, she gave us the opportunities and support we needed to go there and try and excel.
Yeah. In coaching, we talk a lot about beliefs that you learn when you're little and how those experiences and beliefs can shape what you go on to do, how you think, the decisions you make. How did the experiences you have losing your dad, but growing up with an amazing mum who was there and helping and working hard, how did that shape you as an individual?
Yeah, look, I definitely come from a world of strong women, whether that be my wife, my mum, my aunt, my grandma came over after the war, was German, came over after the war and was very stuck in her ways, very stubborn. And a time like that when she did was quite strong. But I think for me it was all their work rates and ability, and someone like my mum who, even if I don't know, it was a snow day and she couldn't drive to work, she would walk the 5 miles in and stuff like that. And it's that kind of endeavor to to keep going really. And that's definitely kind of come through into me.
She got you to keep on going and push on through. And so then where did this love of rugby come from?
Oh look, I was always very sporty. We used to go play mini rugby as kids. My mum would take all three of us down there, and I think if I'm honest, it was probably for her to have a little break.
Yeah.
We'd run around and go pretty crazy. And then as as I got a bit older, I was a bit bigger as well, so probably not as skillful for possibly some other sports. And rugby really kind of drew me in. It is a physical sport, which probably helped me more as well. And like anything, you tend to enjoy stuff you're good at. And as I was getting older, I was getting better, and yes, setbacks or whatever else. But generally, it was going quite well for me. So I enjoyed it. My friends played, so my social kind of circles were in it. And then, yeah, I've just always loved it from there.
Okay. And what about role models at that time? Because obviously it's so important that young boys have male role models in their lives. Who did you have? What men were you looking up to then?
Oh, look, my grandfather was obviously amazing. My uncle was my mum's brother-in-law was incredible. His ability to step up and really provide that as well. And yeah, look, like I said, my mum kind of did everything, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, okay. So fast forward, you're a pretty good rugby player, and you are asked to be England captain. This is 2012, I think. Wow, what a thing. How did it feel to earn that reputation, that badge, that honour?
Incredible. I mean, you dream about playing for your country, let alone kind of captaining them and stuff. So to have that to do it, I mean, overwhelmed to be honest. I mean, a lot of nerves for sure. Leading the guys, even when you're a leader anyway, but then to have that kind of that title is it feels different.
Yeah,
It feels very different to I remember that first session just being so nervous, whereas I don't know the day before, just exactly the same session, probably spoke more,
yeah,
but it was at ease kind of thing, or not as at ease you can be at an England training session. And the next one you're captain, all of a sudden you think, are people looking? Do I need to be different? Do I need to behave in different ways? And especially as a young man, where you're probably not that confident, you're not that self, you probably still have a bit of that ego in your head. And it was, look, it was a massive learning curve through the good and bads, through good people around me. And I think in sporting captaincy, it's never really a one person thing. People only ever think, oh, there's a captain and then everyone else. But it's not. You have a good leadership group around you, probably 5 to 10 players as well, and then coaches, and then it's using experience of other people.
yeah,
But it definitely took a bit of time to fully understand the dynamics of how you do it, how you get messages across. Also the timing. When I was a young captain, I captained very differently to when I was an older captain, and I was looking up to older players instead of speaking down to younger players. And it was very different like that. And I remember the first time having to sit down with a friend of mine and basically tell him off, which was hard. I mean, as a young captain, and you know your mates and you know what they say about other people, and then they're probably going to go say the same thing about you as soon as they leave. So that was. Whereas when you get older, you don't really mind, or mind as much, I should say. So
yeah,
that was a big learning curve.
yeah. And what would you say? This is putting you on the spot, but I know, you do a lot of talking about leadership, and what would you say are the what was effective leadership for you? What worked?
I think I think leadership is, and I know you have down days, and it's a lot of resilience. It's a lot of the ability to keep turning up. You can't really pick and choose your moments. You have to be there. And
Mhm.
it's not to say you're not affected by things. It's not to say you don't have down days and need support and all that kind of stuff. But you have to. And I say to young kids now, like resilience. I mean, nothing is smooth to get to where you've gone to, where anyone's got to in and successful in anything, that no one goes to the top and just stays there.
No.
This incredible roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. And there's some amazing times and there's some pretty dark and low times as well. And you've got to live somewhere in the middle. But the important thing is you get back up and you go again.
Yeah,
And it's a lot easier said than done. But that's why you need good people around you as well.
for sure. And in terms of when things went well and you had the win and tries were scored and you were running out guns blazing with the beers down your neck, how did it feel, that feeling of winning? Just talk to me about the experience of when it went well as a team, as an individual.
Yeah, look, as a team, it's a feeling that you miss when it's gone.
Yeah,
And that's when people say, do you miss rugby? You don't miss rugby, but you miss that atmosphere, that buzz, that intensity, which you can't get anywhere in any other walk of life.
yeah,
We're in the game in front of 80,000 people, the songs, the cheers, whatever else going on, the ability of how hard you've worked to get there. And I think the important thing, and I actually look back and think, you know what would I have done differently? And it's enjoying those moments more.
yeah,
I think in sport, especially rugby, you're always told, oh, it's about the next week, the next week, the next week. And you never actually, don't get me wrong, you do enjoy some things, but you're always kind of looking ahead. And I think that's important to try to do. But when you're in that pressure, when you're in that moment, you do feel it.
yeah. It's interesting what you're saying. A lot of the guys I coach are executives, they're leading companies, they're founders of SMEs, and they're always going, what's the next thing? What's the next one? And just like you've said, they're always going up, 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 and they're never stop going, oh, wow, look what I did, look what we achieved. Or if they do, it's very surface level and then quick on to the next thing. So there's something about just actually acknowledging sitting in it a little bit because it goes, you have life moves on.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
And it is, and like I said, everyone's the same because they're worried, and we're worried that someone's going to come in or I don't know, take your place or do this or do that.
Yeah.
You got to keep moving because if you stand still, it's like a bit. You do, like you said, you do need to try and embrace and enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of people say, like you said, I've heard you say it there. A lot of people in sport always wish, you know what, I wish I'd done this. So for me, yeah, definitely that.
Yeah. And moving on to a bit, I suppose, a harder conversation, which you've been so brilliantly public about, which is why you were so right for this chat, was when things didn't go great in 2015. And I know it was a really hard time for you with the World Cup. And you've said publicly that, you know, you felt that you let the country down when England didn't win the World Cup. Can you tell me a bit more about that time?
Yeah, look, it was, and I think in sport and business, it's very, very, very different. In sport, you have seconds to make decisions, and in business, you probably have a couple of months. And
Mhm.
it was that instance, and some go right and some go wrong. Unfortunately, I had one to make, and it didn't go to plan. All of a sudden, 2 weeks later, we're out of the World Cup, and it's on you. It's extremely tough to take, and it was. Look, it was a dark time. It was a tough time to get through, and it definitely rocked me. It's a scar. Look, I'll always wear, and I think like anything, look, over time, some things they fade a little bit. It'll always be there, but it does fade, and again, it's using those experiences now and what people help me with and all those type of things to help younger players or players who might be struggling. I always say to people that unless you've been in the arena, you don't really know what it's like. And a lot of my friends will be like, "Oh, it's okay," blah, all this kind of stuff, and they mean well and they do, but they don't really know what it's like to be in the front and back of papers, to be spoken about here, there, and everywhere. And even if you ignore social media, you can't really escape it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing when like former captains and stuff reached out to me. So again, yeah, trying to do stuff like that now.
Yeah. So you're giving it back now. At that time, though, when things were dark, as you say, how did you rebuild? How did you navigate it? Who did you lean on?
Yeah, look, I had a lot of people around me really. I was a recluse. I was dead behind the eyes for a long time, just going about my business. I was good enough to play club rugby like that, and I was fine. But I wasn't ripping up any trees or anything. My wife was amazing, and then again, all these people supporting, and looking after, and suddenly it just okay, enough's enough. You got to move on. But I think with anything, look, you need to kind of have your sulk, your mope, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and there does come a time where we're like, okay, actually now I need to get back on things because you're detrimental to other people, especially in the team sport. You can't be carrying people. It's gone long enough, and I think with anything and with sport, we're lucky we have another opportunity, don't we?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have another opportunity to play for England. It wasn't as captain, but as a player, and we went on to win the Six Nations and then win in Australia. And I think with anything, when you get back on the horse and start winning and things go well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, look, there was other people, coaches, players who didn't have that opportunity as well, which was really tough.
Yeah.
So look, luckily, I had that. I had that ability, and yeah, things turned around, which was nice.
Yeah. And then you chose to hang up the rugby shoes. I don't know if that's the right term, but retire. I know from working with a few elite athletes, that transition out of sport, when it's all they've done, lived, breathed, their routine, their schedule, their identity, transitioning out can feel really unsettling. So, what was it like for you when you did move out of elite sport and into the corporate world?
Well, look, I think there was a couple of things that probably helped me. I went and played a little bit in America over there in San Diego, which was amazing, and I think that really helped me kind of end the rugby chapter. Over there, we are playing in front of 1,000 people. Not many people knew what rugby is. We lived near the beach, all that kind of stuff. So it was a very different bubble to Southwest London where I was living. Um, and like you said, instead of 15,000, you had 1,000. So it was a kind of a stepping stone down. The pressure and stuff wasn't on there. It was just kind of training, rugby, and then family.
Yeah.
Whereas in England, you're pulled all over the place, whether that be appearances or charity bits and certain bits going on. So I think that definitely helped. I think when I first retired, I enjoyed it like most players do and like most athletes do, doing the things which you've always wanted to do. I went to the Masters, I ran the marathon, I did some pretty amazing and special things. And then I think reality hits you. I think reality hits you then when you see all your friends going back and playing, and you're like, okay, what am I doing? What am I getting that buzz with? I did a corporate job in the city where I was putting a suit on, getting a commuter train up to London, and I wasn't a fan of it. I was stuck. It's not necessarily always knowing what you want to do; it's knowing what you don't want to do as well. I was so grateful for the opportunity, but I did my 2 years, my time, and then that was kind of like, okay, it's time to move on and do something else. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, and I think now it's trying to understand what when players do retire, or athletes retire, what do they want to do? Because look, we earn well, but it's not enough to go sit on the beach and relax and you sort of work and have all these bits and bobs. So yeah, so it's important to know. A lot of players coach, some do TV, a lot of rugby players go into the finance jobs in the city or anything like that. So yeah, look, it is different, and now I've got a bit of a balance. I work at a school, bit of coaching. I work at a fine wine company, do a bit of TV work, the corporate side, the leadership talks as well. So a
Mhm.
much more diverse balance as well, and I think it suits me much better now in
Yeah.
terms of interacting with people, being on the go. But the big one you said earlier is you lose the structure when you're playing. I know my 6 weeks to within an hour what I'm doing this day, that day. I can plan there. Whereas now I was doing this today. Tomorrow I might be there. Then I might be, oh no, I'm up in Scotland doing the game up there. Or so you're a little bit all over the place.
Mhm.
So coming to terms with that was really hard mentally. My wife is freelance, so she understood it. Whereas me, from well, probably my whole life, I've gone from school where everything's structured, your week, to straight into the academy, straight into until I was 34 years old. So trying to understand it properly was tough.
Yeah. I think it can make a lot of people, not just men, feel quite lost and not quite sure kind of where their North Star is anymore and even what matters to them. And as you said, I'm doing what I'm doing now, but what's next? Like what is the direction I'm going in? And I think if you can just start to rebuild that, which is what you've done, there's a bit of this, there's a bit of that, a bit of that, sort of utilizing all your strengths and the bits that you like, then that's something to build from. It feels like you've done that brilliantly.
Don't get me wrong, I've definitely had my wobbles, and I still have them with where my journey is and what I'm doing. And I think a lot of people do that, and I don't think that's just a sport thing. I know sports people, I know the military definitely struggle. They call it second career syndrome. It's a massive thing where people try and identify, and it's a different buzz, like it's a different. It doesn't mean you can't have happiness, fulfillment, success, all that stuff, but it's different. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, I am still working on it, but I'm in a good place at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking about difficult place and wobbles can happen anytime and not just in sport. Midlife men. So I coach men in their midlife and who are at a certain level. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, sustained pressure. They've been in their careers for decades and been climbing and climbing and climbing. A lot of them have really outdated ideals of what their gender role should be. So, and how, and that's provision. There's also about stuffing down any feelings, being strong, all the stuff that we know is outdated and not helpful, but it's part of their DNA. And with a lot of these men, they don't share what's going on with them. That can lead to all sorts of things. What do you feel like thinking about yourself and your mates and your peers? Does that resonate, what I've just said with you to you? And how do you balance it all and check in with yourself and make sure you're okay?
Yeah, good question. And I think social media can be great and it can be dangerous and all that kind of stuff. And you can read a lot and see a lot. I think now the stage of life I'm in, and a lot of my friends are in this kind of, is a really interesting and it's actually a really tough stage of life. Everyone says different stages are horrible because you're in a career. Well, most people not so much sport, but you're in a career where you're suddenly progressing. You've got young kids. You're tired. You're probably not sleeping well.
Yeah,
You're probably not training as much as you would want to train or be as healthy as you want because you're snacking. You're tired. You're moving around. You're balancing all these things, and and it is a difficult thing. You probably don't socialize as much as you once did, or see your friends as much.
yeah,
Uh, and you're pulled all over to, I don't know, kids clubs or birthday parties and stuff like that. And people are stretched. People are stretched, and it's a valuable thing to, like you said, to make time for yourself. And like, I struggle to fit stuff in. Last weekend I had a friend's 40th, which was the first time as a group we've got together probably in about 6 months or so.
yeah,
I think it's important that when you do, we don't see each other as much as we would like, and people are all over the place, and families and bits and bobs. You got to enjoy it, and then we'll see each other when we see each other again. Yeah, like I don't think there's a secret answer to that. It's trying to find a bit of time for yourself. For
yeah,
me, mentally, I like training. I like going to the gym, whether that be solo or with a friend. Just mentally, I find that really good for me. If I'm a bit down and look, the sun's coming out now, it's a little bit easier to
I
do stuff.
know. Yeah,
Whereas in the winter, in the dark months, especially, we all get a bit down, don't we? So even if I can do some, go for a half an hour run or something like that, I instantly feel better.
yeah.
And it's remembering that when I do get tired.
And when you feel a bit rubbish, who do you talk to? Is it Camilla? Or you got friends that you're
Yeah,
honest
yeah.
with?
I mean, unfortunately, Camilla she probably does take a lot of it, but I'm like most men and most guys, I'm not great at sharing, if I'm honest, and stuff. And I've always been that way. But yeah, it would be her. And then, but yeah, like I said, for me, my physicality and is massively related to my mental health and how I feel. But again, like anything else, you and most people, your job affects it as well, doesn't it? Like you go well in things, you enjoy things, and then you feel happier, and it's a snowball. Your family's good, or your kids are sleeping, and you're mentally
Yeah,
happy. All of a sudden, you're going the other way. And like we've had it last 2 weeks. Our kids have been getting up early, and you're tired and stretched, and here, there, and everywhere, and it's tough, isn't it?
yeah,
And
it is.
hopefully next week it all changes again.
Yeah, for sure. I have two young children as well, equally as squeezed in the middle, aging parents and young children. I think it's a really interesting phase. Plus, trying to make your career, build and build and build. So yeah, it's a funny old time. You're a real champion, you and your wife, for the next generation. So, which is amazing. So you and Camilla have created the Kerslake Robshaw Foundation, and with that, you are helping young people get access to sport and music so that they can reap the benefits, the opportunities, the confidence that comes from it. Why was it important for you both to do this?
Yeah, I think firstly, myself and Camilla, the trauma of my father was sport was massive for me in terms of, like I said earlier in the interview, it was incredible. For my wife, music in terms of further education, to taking her through college and school and university, and I think to giving us the opportunities we have now. And unfortunately, if you strip it right back and go to the beginning, for a lot of people, those things have been taken out. So local schools, clubs. And if you ask most kids, one of them resonates with one of them. Not all kids, of course, but one, music or sport, and the happiness it can bring. And I don't want to take things away from English and maths and all that. But generally, kids like the music and sports classes
Yeah,
and clubs. and the benefits it can give, whether that be social interaction, you get off your phone because you have to do stuff. You're actually physically interacting with people and learning and stimulating the mind and thinking tactics and all that teamwork and confidence and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and the benefits of it are huge. So look, we wanted to do it. We've been going. When did we start that? Almost 5 years. Yeah, we've given out over £300,000 in grants around the country, helped almost 3,000 children, or over 3,000 now. And look, we're just starting. We're just getting going. But we want to continue to help. And like like I said, we're lucky, and it's unfortunate everyone else is.
Yeah, that's incredible. What a thing to do. And it kind of goes back to the way your mum was walking to work 5 miles or whatever it was in the snow. You find a way to keep on going forward and build and do great things. So, and if you put in the effort, it pays off. So I'm excited for you both and all the youngsters you're going to help. Talking of youngsters, I watched Inside the Manosphere the other day, and obviously I've watched adolescents. Our boys, you have a boy, I have a boy. This is one area that I really, I'm passionate about supporting men in their midlives. I'm equally as passionate about doing something great for young boys. It feels like there's such few positive reference points out there for boys of healthy masculinity. It feels like it's blurred, it's complicated. They are, falling behind in education. Mental health is not great. They're going to not healthy resources who make them feel seen and buying into things that are not good for them and can lead to destruction. And it just feels a right mess. What are your thoughts as a dad and as a champion of young people in terms of what boys need right now?
Yeah, I saw the documentary as well. I love Louis Theroux. He's amazing. But look, if we're honest, it's worrying. It's worrying. My kids are obviously too young for stuff like that at the moment, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it probably will evolve or get worse and stuff like that. And then I think that social media can be extremely damaging, can't it? Because the misinformation that can be put up there, and so easily I could put something up now and it's gone without any references or anything like that. So look, it is a worrying time. It is bad like that. And unfortunately, the people doing it are such a small percentage of people
Mhm.
because generally, I believe most are good. And you look at the coaches who are coaching the Sunday volunteer clubs and the sport and the music. Do you know what I mean? Like that they want to help, but unfortunately, the people and he even said it in I say mean things, it gets more attention. So more people talk about it, and it fuels it. Whereas the local, I don't know, the good guys out there doing their coaching, it's not attractive or picked up, is it?
Yeah.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that my kids are too young at the moment, and I'll definitely be trying to keep them off social media and bits like that for smartphones and stuff for as long as possible. And you even look at what the likes of Australia have done. I think it's Australia where they banned social media for under 18s, and it'd be massively interesting to how that develops. And I could definitely see that developing. Like I said, I do some stuff at school. No phones are allowed at the school, uh, adult wise as well. So again, I think people are trying, but it's tough when the actual, I don't know, the houses or the brands or the whatever you call them, the companies don't really monitor stuff themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. It feels like we need a platform that is an equivalent of the manosphere, but a positive thing that has these incredible influencers who are positive and do great things. It
Yeah,
just,
no, there's loads out there as well, which is amazing.
yeah,
Um, and even ones that young, I did Strictly obviously with George Clark.
yeah,
Lovely guy, lovely, fun loving. Him and his friends do silly things, completely unoffensive, have a laugh. And people like that are looked up to as much as well. And the support they have and the fun
yeah,
they have and inspire. And when I went back to the school, they were all talking to me about him,
yeah,
which is great. So look, there are good, but yeah, like you said, there's unfortunately some horrible people, especially at the top of that, whatever they call it, the red pill tree, and their platforms now, especially with political agendas and whatever else, is very tough. It's very tough. How you stop them all, I don't know. But yeah.
speaking louder about the good guys. You spoke about a friend from Strictly there. What about other positive role models for your little boy? Who do you see as who's out there, brilliant representations of masculinity, doing great things?
I don't really know. Like you surround yourself with good people, don't you? I don't know if it necessarily has to be X, Y, and Z, or just like I said, people. His football coach who's there every Sunday, helping him out, speaking to him in the right terms, all that kind of stuff. Little things like that, which go such a long way. And again, and I think if they're not, you're removing them from that situation quite quickly.
Yeah.
My kid, he's not watching thing. He loves he actually I'll tell you this from Strictly. He loves Nitro. He loves Gladiators. We and then we
Yeah.
went to. He's probably only watched it twice, but I mean he's a physical little boy. He loves to rough and ruddy, and he's like, "Oh, Nitro's one of the good baddies." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, because he obviously wants to take him down. He wants to win, but then he helps him up and he's nice to him after." So he's kind of seeing that kind of thing, which is amazing. But yeah, I mean, Nitro, yeah, a great guy, and it's stuff like that which they notice. And like I said, they're so impressionable and bits. There's no particular people on social looking at and saying, "Look, be like this guy. He's only four at the moment,"
Yeah.
and it's just surrounding him with good people and good examples.
Going back to midlife men and men that are tuning into this, you spoke earlier about you've had your own dark times. You yourself find it hard to sometimes open up and share your stuff. For anyone that's sitting here is listening to you and going, God, that is great. He had a hard time. That's amazing. I identify with him, but they are having a bit of a hard time at the moment. What's something that you would like to share with them in terms of how to rebuild, pick themselves up, look after themselves?
I think that be open to things, try things. It might be uncomfortable initially. I remember for example, I did some therapy stuff. I did some therapy stuff, and I did it like this Zoom, or went and sat there and looked someone in the eye and did it, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I felt like I was being interrogated.
Oh,
Really didn't like it. But then I did a similar thing where we met and just went for a walk, and we took the dog for a walk and walked in the shadow, and I found it great.
yeah,
Not offensive, not a thing, not threatening, not imposing on whatever you want to call it, masculinity or whatever. I found it much better. So again, it was trying things that worked. It was just doing the same thing, but doing it side by side instead of confrontational one on one. And
yeah,
again, it's little things like this where you, again, just try things. I think some will work and some don't. Like But I think just being open minded, and I think now people are much more open minded to try things. And again, that's the other side of social media. I know we said there's some bad things,
yeah,
but there's so many different tactics out there. There's so many different ways of looking at things and finding things, and obviously the internet, we can source things quite easily, which is nice.
yeah. Okay. So go try something, try anything if you're feeling a bit rubbish. And I think the side by side, there's been so much research done to that being an effective way of talking, getting your stuff out, even with your teenager that's having a hard time. Sit down and eyeball them. They're going to run for the hills, but go for a drive with them, and you're looking forward. They'll open up to you. There's something in it, you know. So yeah, great bit of advice. But try something.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris. I'm just so grateful for your time. Thank you for being so open and honest, for everything you've shared. I'm sure you've inspired many. You're an amazing role model. Your wee boy and your girl are so lucky to have you. And I wish you so much success with your foundation.
Caroline, thank you very much. Honoured to be on here as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.